What is going on, New York Giants fans? Welcome to another video from Hitsquad Productions. In this video, we got our first ever 3-round mock draft. This is going to be the 1.0. I want to drop a couple more videos leading up to the draft of different scenarios that I think that the New York Giants could possibly do. Now, the draft is 1 week away. I'm really excited. We really don't know what the New York Giants are going to do. And honestly, as a fan, I love that. I love that because, as you guys know, in previous regimes, it was hard to really hide what the New York Giants were doing. And even, honestly, while Dave Gettleman was here, people knew that we wanted to get Saquon Barkley. People knew within a week ahead of the draft that Daniel Jones may possibly be the pick at 6. So, for me, with us not really knowing what the New York Giants are going to do, I love it. And the draft, with how it could play out, the Giants are in an excellent position right now, sitting at 11. There's so many different players that could really fall to the New York Giants, whether that's at wide receiver, whether that's at linebacker, whether that's at offensive line. There's also the trade back scenario, which, Dave Gettleman's never done that, but, it's possible that he could do it this time around, which honestly I would be in favor of if given the right package. But let's get into this, right? So with the 11th pick, we got Devonta Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama. Now, look, Devonta Smith, 6'1", 171 pounds. Realistically, I think he's about 160. That's just my honest opinion. But look, he's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's an excellent route runner. When you look at him as a player, he has some nice speed on him. He has great oh my God, let me stress this. He has really good hands. I'm not going to say he has Jamar Chase hands, who I think has the best hands in this draft, but in my honest opinion, he fares close. He really does fare close. And I think that drafting a player like Devonta Smith, it would help Daniel Jones, and I think that it would also help this offense a lot. Daniel Jones needs weapons. He needs a deep threat, and Devonta Smith, he could take a short route and turn it upfield. And, when you look at the New York Giants, this team is one injury away from having last year's wide receiver core, which was terrible. And I think that, you could make that argument with the offensive line. Let's be honest. I get that. And I understand, people wanted to go offensive line. But I think that when you look at the wide receiver position, Sterling Shepard has concussion issues, as well as, he has a low cap hit next year. The Giants could look to move on from Sterling Shepard. John Ross is also injury prone. Kenny Golladay is coming off of a hip injury, and he's also dealt with some hamstring injuries. And look, I get it. I know a lot of people like Darius Slayton. I like Darius Slayton too. But you can't convince me that Darius Slayton is better than whether that's Jalen Waddle or whether that's Devonta Smith, because he's not. He's not holding a candle to any of these wide receivers. So, that shouldn't stop the New York Giants from wanting to draft a player like Devonta Smith. Now, also, I think that it's worth noting that Gettleman himself did state that the wide receiver core is far from being done. So I also think that when you have a player like Devonta Smith, he's a playmaker, obviously, but, having a playmaker like him, it puts less people in the box, which would obviously help out the run game. But I think it would also help out Daniel Jones and the offensive line. Now, teams wouldn't be able to blitz the offensive line as much, and this was the most blitz offensive line last year. And I think that having a player like Devonta Smith, that really relieves some of that, pressure that the offensive line would usually have. Kenny Golladay is going to get, his 1 or 2 man coverage. Then you have Evan Ingram, who hopefully will improve this year. You still have Darius Slayton or Sterling Shepard. You still have Saquon Barkley, Kyle Rudolph. Then you put Devonta Smith in there. It's a recipe for success. And, I think that, the Giants can use him in a variety of different ways. I understand that the size is a concern, but I think that he could create separation and help out other wide receivers. And I think that, he can create separation, whether that's in motion, and he can get those quick yards and turn it upfield. He's going to be going against quarterback twos, possibly even quarterback threes, and I think that with how great of a route runner he is, which I think that he could be the best route runner in this draft, he's going to eat them up. And I think that he would be the best fit offensively for the New York Giants. Now, there are some cons with Devonta Smith, right? And obviously really the only thing that comes about is his size. And honestly, I'm not too worried about it. I'm really not. I'm aware of it, but I'm just not too worried about it. I think, again, that there's a variety of different ways that the Giants can use him, and having Kenny Golladay on the field, having Saquon, and hopefully, again, a better Evan Ingram, that should relieve a lot of pressure on him and put him into positions for big plays. Now, look, he may not be there. He may not be there. And I think that a team like Miami or Detroit, could take him. But I think that Miami may go Waddle or Chase. They could go offensive line as well. Philly could try trading up. But I think that if 4 quarterbacks go, if 2 offensive linemen, Penny Sewell and Rashawn Slater go, if Kyle Pitts goes, it's very possible that 2, if not at least one of these 3 top wide receivers will be there at 11. And I really do think that Devonta Smith has the higher possibility of being there at 11. So, pick 11, New York Giants select Devonta Smith out of Alabama. Now, round 2, New York Giants are going to select back-to-back Alabama players, Alex Leatherwood. Now, look, he's not my preferred pick. I'm going to be very honest with you. I would personally go the Wyatt Davis route, but I do think that Wyatt Davis may be gone by this pick. I think that drafting a player like Alex Leatherwood, who's 6'6", 312 pounds, I do think that he would be solid competition for Shane Lemieux, and I think that honestly, that he could possibly be better than Shane Lemieux, which would then provide us with solid depth on the offensive line. Now, he is a strong and physical player. He has played right guard for one season at Alabama, so he is going to come with the experience at right guard. And, and both these players coming from Alabama, obviously there's going to be that Joe Judge connection. And I think that looking at a player like Alex Leatherwood, he's got some good hands on him. He really does. He's a smart player, and Judge loves smart players, and he wants smart players on his roster. Now, my only issue with Alex Leatherwood is that, look, outside of him wanting to be a left tackle, and how the draft may play out, teams may view him as a guard compared to a tackle. But outside of that, his athleticism really, to me, is what question. It really concerns me. Because sometimes, you can really see on tape to where he may be better suited at guard than tackle, and I think that may be the best option for him. And usually that's what happens to tackles who are less athletic and usually smaller in size. They usually do better at the guard position. So to me, Alex Leatherwood is the pick. I think that he'd be a great fit at right guard for us. Put him next to Matt Parrott, and I think that these two could be a nice duo. Now, let's look at round 3. So at round 3 with the 76th pick, I got the New York Giants selecting Quincy Roach, defensive end from the University of Miami. Now, Quincy Roach, dude is a monster. 6'3", 245 pounds. In 2020, he had 4.5 sacks, 27 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles. And I think that the talk in this draft when it comes with Miami right now is obviously players like Jalen Phillips, who's a beast. I could see the New York Giants picking him up at 11, actually. You had also people talking about Gregory Rousseau. And honestly, when I look at the film, Quincy Roach really stood out to me. And I know some people have him going in the 4th round, but I can't see him getting past the 3rd round personally. I think that he has some nice speed on him for a defensive end. I think that while he didn't have a lot of sacks, he was able to get in the backfield. And we saw that with Patrick Graham, he was able to get the most out of Leonard Williams, who had a similar issue in 2019. And we saw how Leonard Williams played last year. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and have 11.5 sacks, but I'm just saying Patrick Graham knows how to get the most out of his players. Now, I will say this much. Quincy Roach has some nice hands on him. He has some good pass rush moves. When you look at the film, he has some good pass rush moves. So I think that when you look at the improvements that the New York Giants made on the defensive side of the ball, any player you draft at edge, or at least to play the edge position, they're going to thrive in this defense. Let's be honest. We have most of our defense back. They're going into year 2 under this scheme. Our secondary just got a lot better. So with all of that and Patrick Graham being able to draw up different packages and draw up different ways, to design blitzes, it's going to help whoever we draft at that position. And I think that having a player like Quincy Roach, man, pairing him with Patrick Graham, I'd be really excited to have him on this team. But that's what I got. Let us know how we did below with our first 3-round mock draft. We're going to drop more mock draft scenarios. I'm really excited. We got the draft coming up. It's really exciting because we don't know what the Giants are going to do. We have no idea. And I'm really excited. Whoever we draft, we're getting an immediate impact player. But let us know your thoughts below. Again, hit the subscribe button. Let us know your thoughts below. We'll see you guys in the next video.